We were told in America that those Africans don't like us. And that's the way many people think about Africa, that everyone was poor, sick, dying, corrupt, scamming, some sort of negative narrative, because they've been educated by a system that has exploited Africa for hundreds of years. When I first touched down, I felt like I finally made it. It was like this far distant land that if I ever got to it, I finally accomplished something, and I did. What's going on, everybody? My name is Jay Cameron. I am in Accra, Ghana, and I am a regular here. Although I'm not a resident yet, I am a regular in Accra. I bring people on tours, bridging the gap between Africa and the African diaspora. We're just wrapping up a couple of tours. Over yesterday, and so I'm here at an event that I've sponsored, a meet and greet where I get a chance to meet some of those who've been following me on social media, as well as supporting me in Ghana. So I wanted to say thank you, because Ghana has literally changed my life. My first time in Accra was in November of 2018, and I was really impressed by the hospitality and so many different aspects of the cultures that I had not been taught about in America. I'd been miseducated on so many different levels. And I came here, I saw it for myself, and it changed my perspective, and it changed my world. It changed how I saw Africa, it changed how I saw Africans, and understanding how diverse the continent is, whether it's in the East, whether it's in the West, the South, or the North. I understand that Africa is not a monolith, and thousands of different cultures, and that's what I appreciate. And that's the way many people think about Africa, that everyone was poor, sick, dying, corrupt, scamming, some sort of negative narrative, because they've been educated by a system that has exploited Africa for hundreds of years. But I didn't understand it like that, because I didn't understand the depth of imperialism or colonization. And by not understanding that, I'm believing what I'm seeing, because I was indoctrinated as a child to trust these systems. When I went to school in the first grade, they would have us stand up and pledge allegiance to a system that stole my ancestors and abused them systemically and systematically, broke them down. And in this system, it's done it globally. So until I started understanding the many layers of this, I was thinking as if Africa is not a desirable place to be. Once I started understanding it, I saw why that very system would receive so many exports and natural resources, why it desired to steal and exploit the people, and why it desires to manipulate the minds of those, the descendants of those that it stole. So it's still, once you start understanding it and you come and you see, you begin to change as a person if your mindset is ready for it. When I first touched down, I felt like I finally made it. It was like this far distant land that if I ever got to it, I finally accomplished something, and I did. I accomplished a mental hurdle that had been put in place that I did not know that had been put in place. My family never talked about traveling to Africa growing up. Anything about Africa was always negative. And it was just evident to me at that point, the sheer level of ignorance, hardcore ignorance that existed, not just within my family, but within so many people who are part of American culture. And it's not just African Americans, but it's just American culture that desires to disparage this continent or exploit it when it sees benefit from it. Say, oh, we can use it now, versus seeing the value in building it up. And so that's what I seek to do with my tour experiences and just with my travels, to be able to build it up and to build the people, not that they need me to build them up, but to be able to bridge this gap so we can build each other up. Well, it's the educational gap, it's the cultural gap. There's such a level of cultural immaturity that I see within many, where I come from. It's just an incredible amount of cultural immaturity. But when they come, and this is my love for my people, this is the deal, because sometimes people think when you start calling out certain things that you don't love your people. The evidence of the love of my people is the fact that I bring them and expose them and create this vehicle for them to be able to see for themselves. And I watch people literally transform in front of my eyes because they had the same experience that I had, where they're like, wait a minute, somebody's been lying to me my whole life. Somebody used this system to shape the way I think about this. Somebody took advantage of this and created this response. Somebody did this, somebody did that. And as a result of that, people begin to take that message back to their family and friends. And when that happens, that's how we chip away at that wall of ignorance and miseducation. Well, they get to experience different cultures. They get to experience the people. We were told in America that those Africans don't like us. And I've only heard that, honestly, from other African Americans. I don't hear white people telling me those Africans don't like you. I hear it from other African Americans, or they sold us into slavery. And I say all the time, I say, I've never been a slave, not a physical chattel slave. Now, maybe psychologically I might have been enslaved because of certain things, but it's like people are upset with a group of people who largely don't even know the depths of what happened. And they've been told things about us that we think we're better. And when we come over, we're going to try to change them. So that's how the colonizer and the imperialists work, to be able to keep division so they can continue to exploit. Once you understand the game, that's how it happens. So when people come and they start understanding that, whether it be Accra, Cape Coast, Kumasi, wherever it is they happen to visit, then that's when things begin to change. And that's the part. And then people become upset because they don't want to be on that level of thinking. They want to broaden their perspectives, and that's what begins to happen. Oh, I love Ghana. I've been here many times. I love Accra. I feel at home here. I don't feel any cultural, now that I've been here so much, I don't feel any cultural issues. I just love the vibe and I love the people.
What are some of your favorite things to do when you're in Accra?
Eat banku. Yeah, go to Banku. I love coming here to Rocks Wache. I love the nightlife. I love just kind of riding around and people watching. I love going to Cape Coast. I love going to, I have different restaurant spots that I go to. I love just being among the people. I enjoy it.
For people who have not been able to experience Accra and Africa, what are they missing out on?
Oh, so much. Oh, oh man, they're missing out on exposure. And when you have limited exposure, you have limited education. And when someone else can tell you how to think, or when someone else can say, this is what you're supposed to think, and that's the only bubble you live in, that's a very limited life. I lived that way for more than 40 years. When I came here, that's when I that's when I started living, because someone else wasn't telling me how to think. I could see for myself that these people were not the way that I was trained. So when somebody does not have that experience in their life, their life is in a box. And I didn't want my life to be in a box. I wanted to be free. And when people, wherever they go on the continent or wherever they travel in the world, they come outside of that particular narrative.
Besides Banku, what are your favorite Ghanaian dishes?
Red. Wache, obviously, that's why we have Rocks Wache. Jollof. So yeah, those are my favorites. Yeah.
What local words have you picked up so far?
Oh, the obvious ones are Kwaba, Madasi, that's about it.
If anybody is thinking or wants to plan a trip to Africa, what would you encourage them to go through with it?
Oh, well, because it's going to broaden your life. It's going to change your life. It's going to help you to see things on a different level. And that's what this is all about. That's how we do it. I encourage you to do it. And if you're looking to travel with a reputable travel company, you can come join us with Maximum Impact Travel. We are fully insured, and we make sure that your experience is not just a tour, but that is a well-rounded 5-sensory experience that you take back and you share with your family for years to come. You get multiple cities, multiple experiences. You taste the food, the fashion, the culture, the education. We think about all of that because I know those of us in the West, I know our story, I know what we're looking for from the safety aspect, from the comfort aspect. All of that's laid out when you look at Maximum Impact Travel. So you can visit us at MaximumImpactTravel.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.